Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio, West Bexar County represented. My name is Mike Jimenez. We're going to talk sports, pop culture, and nostalgia today. Joe Garcia is out again. It's been a 3-week training process for him. He has a new job with the Department of Homeland Security. He is in training right now, so he'll be in training all of this week and next week. We'll return towards the end of August, so we're excited to have him back. Today, we're going to have a guest. We're going to have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 joining us in about 5 minutes or so to talk about Spurs, talk about the NBA. There's some big news going on. One of the Spurs fan favorites got picked up. Patty Mills has a new team. Dude's bouncing around the NBA, but FIBA Patty is back. He did a great job in the Olympics with Team Australia. Now coming on back to the NBA, has a new team. Going to be playing for a familiar face as well. The Spurs have made some announcements today when it comes to their upcoming schedule, the NBA Cup, and how that's all going to work out in November and December. We'll get into that as well. Should the Spurs go after one of Wemby's French teammates? Talk about the Dancing Bear, man. He did a really fantastic job over the Olympics. This is a guy that's been bouncing around. He was a first-round draft pick by the Boston Celtics. Bounced around. He's with Real Madrid now. Somewhere in the middle is with the Shanghai Sharks. Should the Spurs go after this guy? And yes, by the way, I figured out how the intro music works on this podcast. So take a little finagling there, but we'll get into that. One of the quarterbacks, star rookie quarterbacks this year, a lot of them out there, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, they're expected to have pretty decent seasons this year. You take a look at J.J. McCarthy over at Minnesota. He is now out for a good while. Very, very bad injury out there, so we'll talk about that as well. We'll get into other issues. It's freaking hot outside. It'll be the hottest week of the month, of the year, in fact, so far. And on top of that, I read an article earlier today about biometrics at Whataburger. Are you down with this? Now, whenever I go to McDonald's, sometimes you go to the McDonald's where they take your order. Other places where they're like, no, it's a kiosk and you have to place your own order. Whataburger is now coming out with biometrics at some of their locations, potentially branching them to all locations at some point. Biometric where they scan your face and that's how you pay. It's kind of like Apple Pay with your face. So are you interested in that? We have a lot of people in our chat line as well. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We have 1,041 subscribers strong already in the house. We got Sam Salinas saying, "Morning, boys." Matt Gomez wishing everybody a good morning as well. We have several others in the chat as well. So Tex-Mex Frank, what's going on? Says, "Good morning, amigos. ¿Qué pasa, Michael?" Dude, I miss Joe, man. It's tough doing this podcast by myself. But we're going to have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 on in about 5 minutes or so to talk about the Spurs and what's going on. Right now, I'm taking a look outside. It's freaking hot. It's going to get up to 103, 105 degrees over the next couple of days. And what sucks about that is it's now back to school. So just, to me, back to school means temperature's starting to go down a little bit, right? But we're getting into that area right now where things are getting really hot outside. I know Chris Lahoff from MCS General Contracting posted on Twitter today kind of a heads up or a warning to everyone who works outside. They work in concrete placement. But he was saying, hey, if you are doing roof shingles, if you are doing outdoor work to hydrate, and in fact, if you have animals, bring them on inside. I'm taking a look at Cody and Duncan right now, my two dogs that are the big ones. They're outside right now, but by the time noon rolls around, they'll come in because I'm not going to have them outside when it's 105 degrees. Matt Gomez already coming in saying, "We need the Dancing Bear." Sam Salinas talking about how the Cowboys are still a crap show. And this and more on today's episode of the Alamo City Sports. It continues, right? It continues. Micah Parsons was interviewed by the press yesterday, and he basically said, we know CD's coming back. We know what's going to happen. Have they made any movement towards it all? No, they haven't. They're worth $10 billion, but they haven't done anything. Daniel Bautista saying, "What's up, Mike? Good morning, everyone. Good morning." And Bear County Social Apparel coming out saying, "I miss the days of just paying with cash. LOL, morning, bro." Well, let's get into that. Before we get into the sports, because we're going to have Jeff Garcia on a little bit. We'll have him talk about the Spurs and the big news involving the Spurs, and also former Spur Patty Mills, fan favorite. I wish the Spurs had gotten him back. $3 million is what he got signed for. The Spurs had that in the cushions. They didn't sign him, but we'll talk about that as well. So I read an article today about how Whataburger is now doing biometrics at some of their participating restaurants. So basically, you have to sign up for this if you want to do it. And essentially what they do is they do a scan of your face, and they upload your banking information or your credit card information to it all, so that anytime you go into that Whataburger, you don't have to pull out your wallet. You don't have to tap the card. You don't have to put in the chip. You just basically just scan your face, and it pays for your food. Now, that's very Minority Report. Man, remember that movie with Tom Cruise back in the day? That's what it reminds me of. You know, you just scan the face, scan the eyeball, whatever the case may be. And I'm just wondering why. Like, who thought about this as a thing? Now, JP Morgan Chase is the company that is going out there, the bank that's going out there and installing this software, installing this equipment. And my question is, well, why? Does it really save time? Is it really that much of an inconvenience to kind of come out and pull out your wallet? Now, here's the thing. I've gone to restaurants before where I forgot my wallet, right? And typically, you just, say, hey, man, I got to go home and get my wallet. But there have been some times when they've brought out Apple Pay. And I understand Apple Pay. You just grab your phone, you just tap it, and there you go. You're off and running. More and more restaurants are offering Apple Pay. I'm cool with that. It's attached to your cell phone. It's not attached to the biometrics of your face. I'm not that kind of guy who's like conspiracy theorist, but I don't want any company or any bank having my biometrics. Are you kidding me? For a chicken strip meal, I'm going to give up my biometrics. For a chicken strip meal, they're going to scan my face. For a honey buttered chicken biscuit, that's what they want? F that, dude. I'm going to do that. Sam Salinas is coming out and saying Apple Pay using the watch is awesome. JHNSB saying absolutely not. Imagine going to your local Whataburger and they have that out there. The curiosity factor will be there. People are going to look at it. They're going to inspect it. But exactly who? Did the McDonald's by my neighborhood? So I live off of Petrenko Road between 211 and 604. Going towards 211, there's a McDonald's out there where they don't have anybody taking orders. So I feel bad if I'm like my folks, because my folks would, they would want to go up to somebody, say, hey, I'll have a number one. I'll have the nuggets, I'll have some coffee, whatever. They don't do that at that restaurant. Everything is done by a touchscreen kiosk, and that pisses me off because it's like, how difficult is it to have somebody to take your order, right? Now, I'm of an age where I understand how technology works for the most part. I can place my orders, right? But older people can't. And, it's kind of different. I was at HEB the other day, and you know how they you can scan your items? Notice that you go to HEB and it's like, okay, well, you can scan your items, 10 items, right? Then they upped it to 15, right? Upped it to 15. The HEB by my house just installed an unlimited amount of items that can be scanned on your own. And what they do is they don't have like the 8 banks there for 10 items or less. What they do is they actually have you go to a stand, a cash register, no different than what the employees are doing. And your stuff goes down a conveyor belt and they have a bagger for you. But I was there the other day thinking that this is the stupidest thing I've ever done, because I sat there like a freaking HEB employee scanning 40 or 50 items at a time. 40 or 50 items. It was ridiculous. I was like, here's my dog food. Here's my shampoo. And I felt offended by this because I understand scanning 10 items or less. I understand that. But why am I scanning 45 items? My bill was like $150. It was my groceries for the next week or two. And I did it all. Now, they had somebody there bagging it. But for about 5 to 10 minutes, I was essentially an HEB employee, and it pissed me off. Sam coming out saying, exactly, Mike. It's the push to up the minimum wage. Unskilled labor has been priced out. Simple economics, no feelings involved. Dude, they were doing this before the push. And, all the employees that I see over there, Jacob Eric saying, I'm a firm believer that if I have to scan my own stuff anywhere, I deserve the employee discount. Exactly. Whenever I go to HEB, all I see are a bunch of teenagers who are typically scanning your items, right, at the cash register, doing the, they're bringing the carts out so that you can have, the delivery, you can have the grocery pickup. I've never understood that concept of the grocery pickup. Maybe that's me being old, right? Where you have people go out there and they go online, they go on the app and say, I want this, 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 and this, and I'll pick it up at this time. I think that's what they're doing. I don't think that they're hiring fewer people. I think they're taking them from the cash register and moving them to the, grocery pickup type of thing. And dude, whenever I go over there, they're not picking the best fruit, man. They're picking the first bananas they see. They're picking the first apples they see. They're not inspecting it. And maybe this is me being 47 and older. I love going to the grocery store. I like going up and down the aisles. I like getting my steps in. I like listening to the music because the music is playing my jams from the 90s and early 2000s now. I like going to the grocery store. The idea of me putting an order in and then picking it up at a specific time, what does that save you, 30 minutes? Come on, get your ass out. Go get some steps. Put on the AirPods and enjoy life, man. JHNSB saying corporations are just getting cheaper and cheaper. Even drive-thrus are using takeout orders now. You know who's not getting cheap? I'll tell you who's not getting cheap. Chick-fil-A, man. They're still the best of what they do. So we're going to have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 on in a minute. Let's see here. Let me add him on here. Give me 1 second. I'm having a technical difficulty. I'm trying to bring him on to the show. Stand by 1 second while I send him a link here. I'll see you. Try this link. All right, Jeff, if you're listening, I gave you another link to try on your Twitter account. We're going to get you in the next minute or so. Apologize for the technical difficulties, but I suck at technology sometimes. All right. See some other comments that are coming in here on Alamo City Sportscast. Sith coming out saying, HEB is a fun trip for my Penny. She has her own little HEB cart, the whole vibe. Remember the whole Buddy Bucks? What happened to that, man? Buddy Bucks was amazing. Dude, my daughter Gabby, my oldest one, we would go to HEB, they'd give her the Buddy Bucks, and she'd get the little prize at the end. That was amazing. Expect Frank says, I know why you like going to the grocery store, Michael. When I was single, I did too. That's funny. Now, the one thing you got to look out for, though, is the upside down pineapple. Apparently, that's a thing. JHSB saying Buddy Bucks is cashless now. Bear County Social Apparel saying next thing you know, you'll be chipped to purchase anything. Hashtag Bible prophecy. Sith coming out saying, oh man, they still have them. Prizes aren't as good though. Dude, which one do you have that has the Buddy Bucks? It's not at mine, man. July 26th coming out and saying, remember when you could see live lobsters at the grocery store? Never at the grocery store, but I remember Red Lobster having that. It was like you could choose your own lobster, or they have there were some places that would have like a crane claw. You could put $1 in and win a lobster. That was brutal. Absolutely brutal. Let's see if we can get Jeff Garcia on from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Give me 1 second here. All right, he says he's in the room. Let's take a look here. I apologize for this. Again, I'm trying to get our boy Jeff Garcia on, and I might need to email him this. So I apologize for the delay here. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about this. This is where Joe Garcia comes into play. And again, Joe Garcia is out today. He is enjoying his new job. So let me hear a link. All right, let me email Jeff. Let me text Jeff. Just emailed you link. All right. Again, this is my bad. This is my dumbassery when it comes to it. Anybody got good plans for this weekend? This weekend is my daughter's 12th birthday. She's sitting right here. Ava is going to be she is turning 12 years old. We're going to have a good time, man. I have lots of things planned. Ava, I have something planned for Saturday, girl. Saturday, we have fun times planned. And the answer is yes, I want to go. Jeff Garcia joins us now from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Let's see here. Let's see if this works here. Oh, Jeff Garcia, can you hear me, my man? Jeff, what's going on, my man? How have you been?
Doing all right, man. You?
Oh, I'm doing amazing, dude. I can hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear, baby. You are in. Dude, me and technology suck sometimes, man. But we were talking a little earlier about how Whataburger is now adding in some locations a biometric scan that you can use to pay for your food. Would you ever use a biometric scan at Whataburger to buy your chicken strips?
Nope. No. Actually, no, I still use cash.
You still use cash? What's the dude? You can't even go to a Spurs game and use cash.
I still use it, man. I still use it. Yeah, obviously I go to situations where I have to use my card, but if there's an opportunity to pay cash, I'd rather pay cash. I just feel it's just better that way. Just one and done, we're good, and move on.
Dude, that's so funny, dude. That's so funny because I took cash to the Ice Cube concert, right? And the reason why I had cash on me was because, I bought my friend's ticket and my friend was like, hey, let me just go ahead and give you the $100 in cash when I see you. So I had $100 in cash, went over to what used to be Rock and Brews, bought a couple of drinks, and then all of a sudden they were like, we can't take this. Like, what do you mean you can't take this? This is American currency. It's a $100 bill. Yeah. And they're like, no, we're good. We're good. We're fine. We don't need it. Bring out your card.
Yeah, no. I prefer cash. Cash is king, still. This is my dad taught me. Cash is king, son. Cash is king. And I just feel more secure, knowing that you're settled up, I'm settled up, you're good, I'm good. At the gym I go to, they only take card. And then the other day, I only wanted a bottle of water, and I didn't feel like putting $2 on a bottle of water on my card. So I told the front desk, can I just pay in cash? And the emails look like, what? I go, yeah, I just want to pay in cash. Luckily, the owner was there, and he goes, yeah, fine, whatever, So I gave him 20, and he gave me 18 back. So all good.
It's funny. The other day, I went to a casino, and I was trying to pay something in cash. And I know that whenever you put a $100 bill down, they get that yellow marker on to kind of see if it actually is a legit. I don't know what it does. Turns a certain color or whatnot. And when they did that with the $100 bill, I understood, right? It makes sense. Grocery stores will do that. Restaurants will do that. Understood. They did that for a $1 bill. Like I gave them $1 bills, and they were scared.
Maybe they got confused and thought it was 100.
Well, I wish they did. They would have given me the change for it. But joined by Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone. The big news for some Spurs fans today is the fact that one of our fan favorites, Patty Mills, who was with this team for a decade, I thought we had seen the last of him after he, was at Brooklyn. Then he goes to Atlanta. Then he doesn't even get onto the court half the time in Miami. Balls out for Australia at the Olympics. FIBA Patty returned, and now he's back in the NBA, going to the Utah Jazz. It hurt my feelings, Jeff, rather.
But are you really surprised though? The Spurs have a logjam at point guard. He was not going to get zero playing time here in San Antonio. CP3, Trey Jones, Castle, Blake Wesley, maybe Blake Wesley, but still, I mean, he was not going to get any point here.
I am just bitching for the sake of bitching. I mean, I'll just be honest.
Why? Because we're now in the thick of things in the offseason now. This is
How
it.
so?
There's no Olympics are over. The Olympics are over. It's now about month and a half-ish before preseason starts, let alone regular season starts. So this is the
right now, man. We are just making our way to the start of the college football season, which is in a couple of weeks, man.
But we got the Spurs schedule tomorrow dropping, so there's that.
There is that. Now I understand that the NBA Cup schedule got released earlier today, or just recently.
Oh yeah, yesterday. Yeah. Spurs. I got 4 games. Start off against the Lakers. You got some good games in that Cup schedule for the Spurs. Right. Lakers to start. Yeah, Thunder, Suns are in there. So some good games, but that's Spurs fans, you're at a Cup game when the court is all funky. Remember last year the wild courts of the Spurs City Edition jerseys just pretty much splattered everywhere on the court.
Right.
So, but that's it though. But let me ask you something. Do you think Spurs fans would cheer if the Spurs were to win that Cup?
I was going to ask that question. Are we going to be like the Lakers and put up a banner, if we win?
I hope not.
Whatever cup there is. So we are in a pod, if you will, the West B pod with Oklahoma City Thunder, the Phoenix Suns, the LA Lakers, and Utah Jazz, right? So it starts off November 15th on a Friday on ESPN. Look at the Spurs getting some televised games, right? On ESPN against the Lakers at 7:30 on November 15th. The following Tuesday on TNT against Oklahoma City. Then you've got against the Jazz on NBA League Pass, and then against the Suns on December 3rd to wrap it up. No, I'm not. I understand the gimmick, dude. This is all a gimmick. It's just to get people excited about early regular season games because
sell jerseys, all that stuff.
Sell jerseys. Nobody really cares about the NBA till Christmas, right? And even then, the NFL has come in and just jumped on top of it and taken over with Christmas games as well. But it's cool to see the Spurs are going to be playing on a Christmas day, dude. I mean, it gives us something. That's a gift that we're going to be able to unwrap on Christmas. That's very, very cool.
Yeah. I wonder how many national games are Spurs going to have. Remember last year they jumped to 9? I think it was.
Yeah.
Now imagine Wemby season 2, CP3. Does that add any juice to it? I'm projecting about maybe 12 to 15.
That would be pretty cool. I think 12 is probably the more accurate number compared to 15 because, I mean, at the end of the day, this was a 22-win team. But you take that Wemby winning the silver medal, his game being elevated. This team should be better than what it had been in the past. I think you're going to have a little bit more buzz and excitement of the Spurs. I'm really excited about this upcoming season. I think that Vegas has really hit the nail on the head at 35, 36 wins. I think that makes sense. But can we see that leap? That's the question of certain players. And it also – part of it's going to be based on how ready Stefan Castle is when it comes to getting onto the court because he looked really good in Summer League. I considered him one of the most NBA-ready rookies of this past draft, and I think that he's ready to go 26 to 30 minutes per game. He'll probably start off at 24 to 26, but I think we're going to see a lot of him, and I'm excited about that. Already got my Castle jersey. Now, this one's the Wemby jersey, right?
The Wemby jersey, yep.
But I've got the Castle jersey ready to go, man, locked and loaded. First game of the season when I'm at the Frost Bank Center, I think I'm going to wear my Castle jersey. I think I'm going to wear
that. That's cool.
I just to stand out a little bit, go like, who's this dude with the number 5? That's not Robert Horry. Who's this guy?
Who was Ime Udoka wore 5 for the Spurs, I think.
That's right. Right. That's right. And so, I was bitching earlier about Patty Mills going to the Jazz, going to be playing with Will Hardy. A little over $3 million. If the Spurs wanted him, they could have gotten him at some point, but obviously that wasn't the thing. I'm just looking at it this way from the mentorship role about it all. So everyone has said in the past that I've had some sort of hatred or anger towards Sohan, and I think that that's subsided a bit, right? I think I've gotten a little bit better. I'm more welcoming and accepting of him, right? But let me ask you this question. Am I wrong about not liking Julian Champagnie? Because he has a lot of defenders on Spurs Twitter right now. I am not a fan.
Does?
He does.
Wow, that's surprising.
Someone asked me the question, who would you get rid of to bring on Patty Mills, right? And I said, look, man, 15 players on a roster, they don't all play. So don't give me this crap about, well, who's he going to play in front of? It doesn't matter. Because a third of the team doesn't play on a given night, right? Doesn't matter. Patty Mills was on the Hawks team and the Heat team, didn't play, but he was on the roster, right? So I was like, well, the one player that I think is the low-hanging fruit of being crap is Champagnie. And, dude, people jump up and go, he's a 3-and-D guy who shoots 37% from three. I'm like, the guy averages 6 points per game, man. He went from 11 points to 6. He went from 5 rebounds to 3. Dude, the guy's – I call him cardio. Because there was one game I went out there. It was me and Joe were out there. We looked up at his stat line. He had been out there for 22 minutes. He had 0.0 rebounds, 0 assists. And I was like, the guy's getting cardio.
There's some hope for you, though, because the Spurs are overbooked when it comes to roster spots right now. So something's got to give.
Right.
So whether that be Champagnie or that be Boston or Duke Jr., we'll see. But I think Champagnie's on the bubble, though.
Yeah. So D'Lo was asking the question, what was the over-under on the wins? I believe it's 35.5.
Yeah, 34, 35.
I'm not mistaken. Tony Arnaldos reaches out to us on our YouTube stream. Says NBA Cup is not really working. Adam Silver wants to make money, and the Lakers having a banner is ridiculous. I agree. Okay.
Spurs fans will be celebrating if the Spurs were to win it. You know it.
Are we going to be honking the horns? Is that what we're going to do?
Yes, I think they would. Yes, I think they would be honking horns.
It's been a while, right? See,
because it's been that long.
I would understand if it's like the New Orleans Pelicans that win it, right? Who don't have any chips. I would understand if it was a team like Charlotte or a team that doesn't have chips. For the Lakers, who have all those banners up there, to raise another banner for the NBA Cup was stupid. And I think the Spurs are above it too, because the Spurs, Celtics, Bulls, Warriors, Lakers should not be doing that. We're the 5 greatest franchises in NBA history. Now, David Atwater is saying the Spurs open up on TNT against Dallas. Is that the rumor? Is that the thing?
Oh, that's the report. Yeah, via Mark Stein. Mark Stein yesterday night reported that. So looks like that's it. And on the road, Dallas rivals. Dallas swept the Spurs last year 4-0. Wemby's year 2 debut, CP3's debut. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a good opening night for the Spurs on the road. And I think the last game the Spurs and Dallas played last year, didn't Dallas just demolish them? They beat them like 3 times, but that 4th game, it was just like a disaster for the Spurs.
Now, one thing that I do like about them playing Dallas is that you get to see Luka Doncic, who, for my money, is the smartest player in the NBA. I'm not gonna say he's the best player in the NBA. I'm saying that he's the smartest player in the NBA.
Okay, explain what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is
using his body backing up on people to get these cheap fouls.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing. He gets to the free throw line a lot, and a lot of people don't realize is that he suckers players into that position. He does certain things, and this is why I like Stephon Castle so much, is because when we were watching the summer league games, and Castle was out there for those couple of games, some of the moves that I was watching him do were straight out of Luka Doncic's playbook. He went around a screen a certain way. He got a defender on his back. He didn't let the defender get back into position and allowed the defender to push him from behind to get to the free throw line. And I saw that, and I was like, wow, Stephon Castle is learning from the best. He's learning from a Luka Doncic. You remember the night that he got drafted, Stephon Castle was asked the question. I don't know if you asked it or somebody else did, but they asked the question, who do you want to face first in the NBA? He said, Luka.
Doncic, yep.
That got me going, because not only does he like to go up against Luka, Jeremy Sohan has shown an ability from time to time to go up against him. And I want to see that early. You
like seeing the rookie poke the bear, huh? He's poking the bear.
I do. And they're learning from him. They're learning how this is a LeBron move. This is a Luka Doncic move where they go around a pick, they get a player behind them, and then they allow him to ride back into the play. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like driving a car. It doesn't matter if you slam on the brakes. If you got hit from behind, the person who hit you from behind is at fault. doesn't necessarily matter most of the time what happens in front, right? So these players like Luka, LeBron, they get in front of their defender, and as opposed to just attacking the basket, they stop.
Yeah.
And then the defender hits them from behind, and all of a sudden they go straight up, and they know they're going to the free throw line, worst case scenario, or they can get the +1. It is smart. And Stephon Castle has started doing that in summer league games. We see Luka Doncic. He's so smart at getting to the line. It's not that the officials are calling it for Luka. Luka is getting in position to have the calls go in his direction. That's the problem for a lot of NBA teams.
No, it reminds me of Tim Duncan with the arm through, step through. Remember that? He would shoot his arms out on purpose.
Shoot his arms out. He get hacked. He get hacked on the way up.
Bait you to hack him, and then he'll swim through. So it's very similar to that. It was basically TD did exactly the same thing that Luka did. Luka baits you into following him right in the back. Tim Duncan baited you into hacking him.
So I'm looking right now at the odds of who's going to win NBA Rookie of the Year. And Garrett from the Netherlands is joining us right now saying Castle Rookie of the Year. Right now, Stephon Castle has the 5th best odds to win, right? So let's talk about that. Mario Cavazza saying, I won't be the only one wearing a Castle jersey. There'll be thousands. I don't know about thousands, but I was one of the first to get it. That one I will say. Sam says I should get a custom jersey saying the Castle's dad on it. It should just not Castle, it's Castle's dad because he's my son. Mario says it's going to say me mijo Castle. Okay, so explain to me how Vegas, FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings, MGM Grand all have as their favorite to win Rookie of the Year, Zach Edey. Number 9 pick in the draft, Zach Edey.
I guess he'll probably get. Maybe he's the Ja Morant effect because he'll be able to feed off Morant, and Morant's going to feed him. How close is it? How close is the race? Is it
okay? So Zach Edey is 6-1 odds. I'll go through FanDuel's, right? Okay. 6-1 odds all across the board on all the different sites. Reed Shepherd of the Houston Rockets, who was taken number 3, is the second best odds at 7-1 on most sites. The number 1 overall pick, Zachary Reese-Archet, Atlanta Hawks, going at 8-1 odds. Matas Buzelis, who the Spurs could have gotten at 8, who fell to 11, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think he's with the Bulls.
Balled out for him. To Chicago, and he's from Chicago, so
yeah, 10-1 odds. And then you have the Spurs, Zachary Reese-Archet. The Spurs Stephon Castle rather at 10-1 odds as well. Buzelis is as low as 8-1 on some sites, so they have Castle as the 5th best odds. Behind Castle at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you've got Alexander Sarr, who was the number 2 overall pick. Dalton Connect. He went 17 or 18 to the Lakers, man. That guy's going to get minutes. So I want Carlton Carrington, Rob Dillingham. Oh, my God. Dillingham's name is out there. And then you have Donovan Clingan with the 10th.
I'm surprised Clingan is low. I would have him higher. I would have him higher. I don't think with Edey is playing time because you were able to move what's his name, Jackson Jr. away from the 5 spot now.
Yeah.
And you get Edey in the middle, and then you get Morant. Yeah. The only thing I think is just playing time. And then who's around him. He's going to be able to feed off. John Morant misses. John Morant dumps in the paint. Stuff like that. It's the only thing I can think of. But I'm actually surprised. I actually would have guys like Clingan, Shepherd for sure. Castle's in the mix, so that's cool. But then again, Bet Online, they have Castle just only averaging about 9.5 points a game. I have the over on that.
I'm gonna have the over on that one, man. We had Jack Thompson on yesterday, and we both hit it. We both said the same thing: 12 points. They averaged 12 points, 12.3, somewhere around there. He has a bag of offensive talent, man, and he has handles. That's the thing about Castle is that people keep asking the question, well, he wasn't a point guard in college. He was asked to play whatever position they told him to play. He could play the 1, 2, or 3. 6'6", dude, if he keeps growing, he's a young guy. If he grows to 6'8", the Spurs would have the biggest steal in the draft. Reed Shepherd of Houston, by the way, That guy's a monster. He's a monster. There's no other player like him. Somebody who's
and he's going to get playing time. He's going to get a lot of playing time.
6'3.5", lights out shooter, but somehow plays defense as though he's 6'7". I don't know how he does it. He has the biggest vertical jump in the entire combine this past year. He's just going to be fun to watch. There's nobody like him, dude. Nobody like him. People reaching out saying, Midtown Texas saying that if we do win the NBA Cup, we can go honk the horns, but Banner, no. He's trying to give a little bit of a compromise there. Drew Show says, I'm doing a horrible job and ruining my chances to ever become Julian Champagne's financial advisor. So people are asking the question. Tony Ornelas is asking the question, can Castle be Rookie of the Year? I think a lot of it has to do with the minutes being played. And I think also...
he's not getting any minutes to start. Maybe if they pull a Tony Parker and give him the keys to the car. But then again, I guess CP3, he took a back seat off the bench in Golden State. Would he do it for a rookie and Trey Jones?
Well, you look at it this way. Jeremy Sohan started all but 3 games as a rookie. I think he played like 56 games and he started all but 3. So they gave him the keys to the car. He was the number 9 overall pick in the draft a few years ago. Why wouldn't they give the keys to the car to the number 4 overall pick? Like Trey Jones, to me, and I hate to say this, means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing because we have Stephon Castle, number 4 overall pick. Trey Jones has been replaced. May not be replaced in November or October, November, but I like Trey Jones. I hate to say he's dead to me. I just know he's not part of the future of this team. He's not.
Yeah. Taking a step beyond that too, Blake Wesley too. He's on the bubble as well.
Yeah, Blake Wesley. And the Spurs right now have, 18 contracts, 17, 18 contracts? They're going to get rid of 2 or 3 players. Got to figure out who they're going to give away. They have Brandon Boston. Is that who they picked up a couple of days ago?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, he's G League bound or probably just cut.
Okay, so Brandon Boston, the Spurs picked him up a couple of days ago. He was a 5-star high school recruit and went to Kentucky, averaged 12 points per game over there, stupidly went into the draft. He thought he was good enough to be a one and done, got picked up number 51 overall in the draft, second rounder, didn't get any play in the NBA, goes to the G League, sucks ass, right? This is a guy who just 3 years ago was touted as one of the best high school basketball players of all of the NBA and all of the United States. And it's bad decisions. The people behind him made bad decisions as to his talent or what he was going to be expected of him in the NBA. I look at this guy and I think to myself, I was talking to Jack Thompson. I was like, Jack, yeah, Brandon Boston. Remember the McDonald's All-American? Remember this dude?
I forgot about it. I didn't even know he existed.
It's just so funny. I was like, dude, I remember this guy. And speaking of guys that we remember, blast from the past, the Dancing Bear, Gershon Yaboule, whatever that guy's name is from France.
Yeah, Yaboule, yeah.
And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I forgot that he was a lottery pick, man.
Yeah, he played with the Celtics too, didn't he?
He played with the Celtics for a few years. Yeah. I don't know if he was lottery, just outside lottery. He was like a mid first round guy, like a somewhere between 13 and 16 in the draft. Played a few years, goes off and starts. He played literally for the Shanghai Sharks. Now he's playing
in Spain now.
Real Madrid, yeah. And apparently, before the Olympics, the buyout to get him out of his contract was $750,000. But after a certain day, it became $2.5 million. So if the Spurs or any team wants to go out there and get him, a 6'8.5" small forward, power forward, who wants a second chance at the NBA, why wouldn't the Spurs entertain the idea of bringing Wemby's countrymen over? Wemby would love it.
Oh, he would love it for sure. But I mean, well, but he's gonna get any PT? Who are you gonna put him over? Vassell, Barnes. Sohan?
Barnes is on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Barnes is on a 1-year deal, right? He's got 1 year left on his deal.
1-year deal, yeah.
Is expiring. So it's one of those things where you look at it as more of a long-term type of play. Sign up for a 2-year deal. He wants back in the NBA. I saw an article about him on CBS Sports where he was saying that he's been waiting for the opportunity, and all the places that he has bounced around. The guy was a stud in the Olympics, and I'm looking at his past history here. Right, he's a power forward. He is 6'8.5", the 16th pick in the 2016 draft. Still a young guy. He's still in the prime of his life. He's 28 years old. So he played for these French leagues. He played for the Shanghai Sharks in 2016 and 2017. Went back to the Celtics, by the way. He got drafted by the Celtics. And then he played in China. And now he's been with Real Madrid since 2021. So he's played in France, Spain. He's played in the NBA. He's played in China. Why not? The guy showed that he could ball out against an all-NBA all-star team. I would love to have that guy on this team.
I think he'll land with an NBA team. I don't think he'll be with the Spurs though. But you also look too. Are we making a lot of what he did? Considering that's maybe it might be magnified because FIBA and NBA rules are vastly different. And you even had Shorter saying after the games that FIBA ball was a lot harder to play because of the rules. You have to have a basketball IQ, and that coaching matters in the FIBA play versus NBA. So maybe he would probably be all right now, in the NBA, considering you have foreign players like Wemby who said that, it's easier to play in the NBA than it is to play internationally.
We have a $5 super chat coming on in from the Drew Show. I like the way he phrased this. I don't take any offense to this, but he says, Mike, slow your roll on Trey Jones. CP3 is only a rental. After State Farm point guard finishing school, he is our permanent vet backup point guard. Trey Jones, who, again, signed a 2-year, $20 million deal. Again, this is the end of it because I believe he's on an expiring deal this year. One of the few expiring deals that the Spurs have. If you want Trey Jones to be the backup point guard for this team in the future, fine. I have no desire to have him be the starting point guard. None. No defensive presence. He's fine offensively when it comes to getting in the lane. He has no three-point shot. No three-point shot, no defense. He's a backup. He's a backup. But the thing is that I don't want them to be like, well, we CP3 needs to take a break. Let's bring in Trey Jones. Why?
That'll happen. Popping the rest management, load management stuff.
Remember when CP3 was with Oklahoma City a few years ago, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played the 2. So SGA, who's one of the best point guards in the league right now, was the shooting guard that year. And that is what we're looking at when it comes to Stephon Castle. The reason why I'm excited about Stephon Castle, though, is somebody needs a rest. He can sub in for Vassell. He can sub in for Trey or CP3. He can sub in for Harrison Barnes. The guy can play 3 positions. I like it. I like where he's at. I hate the term positionless basketball, but this is one guy in Stephon Castle that can actually do it. He can actually. I'm excited about Castle, dude. He may not win Rookie of the Year. He might only average 10 or 12 points per game this year. But, man, I see 2-3 years from now something special out of that kid. One of my favorite guys out there. JHNSB saying, can we at least sign Tyus Jones, the better brother who has a good shot?
Too late. He's gone. He signed with another. I forgot which it was, but no, he's not available anymore.
Yeah. So Jeff, let me ask you some questions, man. I was noticing on your at Jeff G Spurs on Twitter and on Threads that there's some sort of Wemby card that's going for 30,000 plus. What's going on with that?
31,000 or more. So basically, there is this card that's 1 of 1. It's a rookie card too. And it's kind of like the design of it. They call it super fractors, but basically they kind of like, I don't want to say glow in the dark, but they're very shimmery. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
And there's only 1 of 1, and it's up at auction right now at Golden. And Golden, the starting bid right now, and this was yesterday. Now, mind you, this was yesterday's starting bid. I don't know what it probably changed now because there's still 4 days to bid on this. But yesterday's starting bid was at 31,000. Wow. 31,000 to start. Begs the question, Mike, if you had that kind of scratch, would you do it?
It depends on how much I won Powerball, man. If I was a Powerball winner, then yeah, why not? It's just 30 grand, right? But with my finances now, no, I wouldn't do so. And by the way, you are into anime and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
My daughter Ava, who turns 12 years old tomorrow, she's saying bye right now. She just handed me one of her drawings. She's been sitting right next to me this entire time while I've been doing the show.
Let's see what you got.
She did this by freehand.
That's pretty good, man. That's very anime vibes. Very anime vibes. You got the eyes right. You got the chin area. That's very noticeable in anime. Good job. Good job there, young lady.
Very nice. Ava, what are your anime? You like is it Dragon Ball Z or what do you like? Demon Slayer is her vibe.
Oh, excellent choice. Excellent choice.
My daughter my daughter has 5 katana swords in her bedroom.
Oh, well, you know what? I better catch up with her. Hey, let her know that the English voice actor of the main character of Demon Slayer comes on Locked On Spurs.
Comes on his podcast. Very cool. Sam Salinas is saying nice. Hooper coming out saying nice drawing. Midtown Texas says looks good. So Midtown Texas, just to let you know, Ava, he likes to Photoshop me in various scenarios to make fun of me. That's how he rags on me, right? But Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. You rag on those you love, right? That's basically how it works.
Exactly. When everybody stops ragging on you, then you have to worry. But no, speaking of anime, Wemby got the anime treatment recently. They did a anime, I guess. What would it look like anime style if Wemby took on one-on-one Steph Curry and LeBron James? Yeah. They basically ripped off a Dragon Ball Z episode, and they just put the faces on top of them. But there was a lot of people in San Antonio that when it went on Ken's were like, "Hey, that's pretty cool," and it took off. Like on the Facebook page, everybody was like chiming in, like that looks like a different character from a different universe. So anime's a thing, dude. Your daughter knows, man. You might get with it, Mike.
I know. So it's Demon Slayer. What's the other one? What's the other one you like besides Demon Slayer? Did you hear that?
I didn't hear it.
How do you say it again?
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes, very good. Tell her that I got the voice actors for Vegeta and Goku to argue about San Antonio tacos.
Hey, she just put on her headphones, man. I think she's tuning me out at this point. By the way, so after this, we're going to be doing some back to school shopping, right? So how was when you were in high school, Jeff?
Yeah.
Explain to me your vibe, your threads, man. Were you a Cavaricci guy, a Gerbeau guy, or were you like me? I had like 2 really nice outfits, like Gerbeau and all that stuff, and then everything else was from Mervyn's, man. What was your clothing like in high school?
Well, first of all, I went to Central Catholic, so we had a dress code.
Oh, brutal!
We had a dress code, not a uniform, just a dress code. So a lot of khakis. So basically, it turned into Structure, Banana Republic. What else? Polo. Man, what else? The shoes were kind of like all over the place because they had a dress code pretty much from the neck to the ankles, but they never really said anything about shoes. I remember that. So I remember guys showing up with Red Wings. I remember the steel toe boots were a big thing in high school.
Oh yeah, you had to have the Red Wings, right?
The Red Wings, yeah. Doc Martin.
Oh, the Doc Martens were also really big. You mentioned the store Structure. Structure was my favorite store growing up, man. It was my favorite store. They had the braided belts, that was pretty cool.
I remember going to the one in North Star Mall.
Yes.
Basically where the Express for Men is right now. That's where Structure used to be.
And the hot girls would go to the Guess. They'd go to the Guess store right
next door, yeah.
And then you could smell the cookie company, the cookie company kiosk right across the way.
Yeah, so we had to wear collared shirts, button-up shirts, no jeans. We couldn't wear jeans, only on special occasions if they let us.
Mario Cavazos asking the question, no hombre, this is a wealthy South Side. He didn't own any Jinkos.
I had a pair of Jinkos, had a pair of Jabos, I had a pair of oh my god, what was the other one? I remember I was big into Levi's. I remember I wanted Levi's. What else? Now, see, I look back and I look now. I'm like, screw it. It's from JCPenney or Payless or Mervin's or Target. I don't care.
Sam Felina saying, nice. His son started his junior year today at Central Catholic. Go Buttons, baby. Go Buttons. They have a new gym now.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. My clothes in high school, I mean, it was a couple of Gerbos with a bunch of Levi's. I would sometimes wear these like denim shirts, like denim long sleeve. They weren't country, but they kind of were. Sometimes, I was trying to be like Boys to Men, dude. I was trying to that Motown Philly look where they have the denim shirt with the tie. Mm-hmm. Dude, I would rock that from time to time, man. I had a rayon shirt, a mustard colored rayon shirt that I loved, dude. I looked great first and second period. By the time it was fifth or sixth after lunch, I looked awful. It was all wrinkled and stuff like that. But we had clothes from Mervin's. We had clothes from Structure, from
you remember Vans? I remember Vans were a big thing.
I wasn't cool enough, dude.
I think I had one.
I mean, I was popular enough in high school, but I wasn't like one of the cool kids. I had a lot of friends. I was popular in high school. The cool kids liked me, but that was basically it, man. Mario Cavasso saying it's all about the 501s, baby.
Yeah,
the 501s.
Now I go shopping at JCPenney.
You're a Kohl's guy. You're rocking the Kohl's cash right now.
Well, I see. I remember when I was living in New York City, you couldn't. I remember shopping in Soho, and I remember there was a quote unquote discounted store, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to this discount store, and my God, Jimenez, we're talking about like a pair of jeans that will go from this fashion company that you never heard of, but it's like Italian and European. And the discount was maybe like $5 off. So it went from like maybe $900 to $880 or something like that. So I remember doing a lot of that in New York City. And I remember I would have to cut across Macy's, the store Macy's, whenever it was snowy or rainy or just too cold, because Macy's would be connected to the subway system. So you would cut across and you get sucked in. You get sucked into everything in there. And I remember coming out of the stores every time being, why did I have to go through here? Now I have bags of clothes now. It sucks. I just clothes I'm never going to wear.
Drew Show says, Mike 100% sang harmony in the group in high school. I'm the stairwell. I was in band. I was a 3 years marching band. I played trumpet, and I was 4 years varsity tennis. So I was that dork. I was also the sports editor of my school newspaper. So I did a lot of stuff over there, man. I was all right, man.
Where'd you go to high school?
What's that?
Did you go to high school again?
Went to Holmes. Mario Cavasso says girls were fire with those super tight Rocky Mountain jeans. Sam saying that he remembers that it was an unspoken requirement that only hot girls worked at James Avery or Bill Miller's. That's facts. Dude, my first credit card ever was I'm thinking of James Avery. My first credit card ever was K Jewelers. I was rocking that $399 credit limit over at K Jewelers back in the day, dude.
That's for a big shot, baby. Yeah, $399, baby. Word.
I got to pay us $5 a month for the rest of my life. Hell yeah, baby.
Yeah, put it on. Yeah, it makes sense to me,
dude. So were you a BMG guy or a Columbia House guy, or did you rock both?
I think I did Columbia House.
Dude, all those CDs I got from Columbia House are still in my garage. It's gone from college dorm to college apartment to first apartment to first marriage to second marriage to now. It travels with me.
You know what? I've been thinking about having, like, before the season starts, it gets going and get busy. I told you the idea of having like a garage sale of my own, because I have like so much of that stuff, like CDs, and basically my collectible collection is just massive, and it needs to come down. Like, I have a storage unit on the south side of San Antonio.
Yeah.
It might as well be a Toys R Us. It's that big. And I've been told the idea of having a garage sale. Like, I think there's apps, right, or a website you could promote your yard sale, right? Is that true? What is
it
that?
is. Well, you can also do offer up. I mean, that's
What's
online.
that?
Offer up is kind of like eBay, but it's a localized eBay. So, where when you go onto eBay, you see, I want to get this item, but it's in Kentucky, it's in New York State or Washington State, has nowhere near you. Offer up and whatnot is kind of like a localized online garage sale, online whatever. You can sell cars, you can sell furniture, you can sell collectibles, but that the people that are looking at it and making bids or that are interested are within a certain mile range of you. So I would check that out. Heck, my sister does that for like a living, man. Some people will hire her to go out there and auction their stuff out, man. It's pretty interesting what she's able to do.
Sample is money.
What's that?
Money on that?
Well, it depends on the item. I mean, if it's an expensive item like a car or a collectible like that, she could. But I mean, it's not going to be like breaking the bank, but it's worth the time.
Yeah, I need to cut down on my collectible storage unit, and it's ridiculous. Like, this is bad. Like, there's stuff that's still not in there that needs to be in there that's still in my folks' house that they're always telling me, what are you going to put in your storage? I'm like, I'll get to it.
Sam has a question for us. He says, this is for everybody. What was the first CD you ever owned? And his was Technotronic here. He says, Pump the Jam.
What was mine? I don't remember.
I know the answer to mine. I know the first vinyl album I had. I know the first CD. I know the first cassette I had too. Okay, so I'm going to break it down. My first album, like vinyl album, was given to me. It was High and Dry by Def Leppard. I will always remember that. It's High and Dry. I remember the cover art and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Remember it all. My first cassette was MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This.
See, it's funny. I remember my first cassette. I don't remember my first CD. My first cassette was Whitesnake.
Was Tawny Contain on the front? Because if it was,
no, it was that gray, silver gray with a logo, like a snake logo, and then it said Whitesnake across. I remember that was my first cassette. And where I got it at North Star Mall on the second floor near the food court at the old, I think it was Sam Goody. Way at the end. Yeah, that's right.
Dude, I was a CD exchange aficionado. I lived at the CD exchange, man. Used to love just listening.
The one in San Antonio on the north side.
I went to the one on Evers back in the day. That was the one. Then they had one. They also had one that I would go to on Broadway, right next to the Whitty Museum.
No, I would go to the one on. Oh my goodness, the one on it was the one on Evers. Yeah, it was the one on Evers.
They also had one on I-10 and Wurzbach. That was also pretty banging one.
There's one right now in the Colony that still exists.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I went there maybe about 2 years ago. I was like, what are you guys still doing here? It was like a blast from the past. The first CD I ever owned was Belle Biv DeVoe's Poison. I remember getting that for 7th grade.
I had to jog my memory here to see which my first CD was. I don't remember. Maybe it was Tool.
Oh, really?
Tool. So
very, very cool, man. So
real fast. You know what? I regret my dad. Growing up, he had a vinyl collection. Like, I'm talking about 70s, late 60s records, just all up and down his garage. And he got rid of them. And to this day, I'm upset by that. I'm like, Dad, you could have just held on to them, give them to me. We're talking about Lionel Richie, Earth, Wind, and Fire, just old school vinyl records with remember Rhino records?
Mm-hmm.
The little Rhino logo on them. and I wish he never got rid of those.
My former father-in-law, may he rest in peace. I remember going to his house one time, and he busted out his vinyl, and the music sounds so much better on vinyl compared to CD or MP3 or whatever we listen to now.
I think getting a record player, like an old school record player, in my apartment.
Oh, really? She played for me Hall and Oates. He played for me Boston. He played for me.
Saw them in concert in
What's that again?
Saw Hall and Oates in concert in New Jersey a couple years ago. Before they started having a fallout.
I know. I've seen them twice. I saw them at the Majestic Theater twice. Once in the second row, once way in the back. But they're feuding right now because John Oates wants to sell his half of the catalog that they have.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And Daryl Hall doesn't want it to happen. So, yeah. I mean, because in essence, if John Oates sells his portion, for all intents and purposes, Daryl's becomes less valuable, right? Because it's supposed to be a 50-50 thing. I understand both arguments, but at some point, dude, you're like almost 80 years old. It's like done. It's like done.
You know what? Hall, his show, I think it's stopped right now, but live from Hall's house.
Daryl's house.
That's an excellent music series. Everybody should watch it.
Yeah, the episode he had with CeeLo Green was really good. He had one that with Jason Mraz that was pretty good. So for those of you who don't watch that show, he brings on relatively contemporary artists onto the show to sing his songs, and then he goes and sings their songs, and then they sing together. It's a really good show. VH1 now airs it as a series now.
And listen up, you kids. Back in the day, Hall and Oates used to take over MTV as guest VJs, not for a day or two, like almost for a week.
Yeah.
Hall and Oates used to have live concerts on MTV. Hall and Oates used to have contests, with MTV. Hall and Oates was a big thing in the early phase of MTV when it first came out.
Yeah, the Blue-Eyed Soul thing was a thing. They talk about the fact that he has that those guys, although they're white, they sang kind of black. They got the cookout pass or whatever they call it these days. But I don't know if you ever saw Travie McCoy, the hip hop star from back in the day. His hand tattoo.
Oh, go your way. Ooh, I can barely make it. What is it?
It's Hall and Oates on his hands. It's
I see it now. I see it now. Yeah. Okay, I'm a big fan of Hall and Oates. I wouldn't go that far.
You can't go for that. No can do. One last thing. Mario Cavazza saying that you and I sound like we're going to get front row seats to Barry Manilow. Maybe.
I see that. Yeah. I got a funny story. When I was living in New York City, I remember me and a friend of mine, we were at a bar in near Madison Square Garden, and some random couple came up to us and they're like, "Hey, we can't make it to a concert tonight. Do you want the tickets?" I'm like, "What?" Yeah. They're like, "Yeah, take them." So, all right, we took them. Look at the ticket. We had a front row seat to Neil Diamond.
Nice. Neil Diamond. That could be fun. That could be fun. I'm trying to think is that the lamest concert you've ever been to? Because I'm thinking about like lame concerts. I saw Bruce Hornsby one time in concert.
And I'll tell you the coolest concert I've been to was I was in the middle of Manhattan on a rooftop overlooking the Hudson River and listening to this the live in concert. You probably never heard of them. They're very popular in New York. They're New York based. They're called St. Lucia.
I've heard of them, but I don't know them. I've heard of that name.
Yeah. That was the coolest concert I went to in recent memory. The most fun concert I've been to was in New York, and it was a all-girl rock band from Japan, and all they did was just sing hardcore death metal music. The whole was just having so much fun in there. The most memorable ones are like Hall & Oates, just because I've always wanted to go see them.
Yeah.
What else? I got a concert coming up next month in Austin, so I'm looking forward to that one. What else?
Who are you gonna see? Who you gonna see in Austin?
Oh, you probably never heard of this band. They're an indie band out of California. They're called and they're very, very good. If you're into that kind of California vibe, go check them out. They're called Magdalena Bay.
Never heard of that one. No.
Yeah. So, and then I think what other concert I've been to that I think one of the most memorable ones is more touching, like for the heart. My dad took me to go in concert to go watch at the Hemisphere Arena, mind you, Kenny Loggins.
Oh wow, I would have liked that.
That was fun.
I learned the other day that the song that people think that is Kenny Loggins, but it's not, is the Holiday Road from the movie Vacation and all the vacation movies. How it wasn't Kenny Loggins, even though everyone thinks it is. It was Lindsey Buckingham.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Wait, really? People thought it was Kenny Loggins?
A lot of people did, man, because Kenny Loggins was doing all the movie what's it called, intros and theme songs from back in the day with Footloose and all of that. Real fast, we mentioned weird concerts. That Bruce Hornsby concert that I went to was interesting because it was at the Alamo Dome, and Christy Yamaguchi was performing an ice routine to the whole thing. So it was a concert / Christy Yamaguchi thing.
I got a funny concert story. I remember in college when I went to St. Mary's University, these friends, they had an extra ticket to go to SeaWorld, not for a concert, just to go to SeaWorld. Well, it just happened that same day you had a ticket to go into the park. You had a ticket to go see Michael Bolton. So the thing, know who his opener was?
Who's that?
Unknown, very young Celine Dion. So I got to see Michael Bolton perform in SeaWorld of San Antonio.
I celebrate his entire catalog, like they said in Office Space. The coolest concert I ever went to was I saw at the Joint in Hard Rock Casino in Vegas, the old Hard Rock Casino. About 15 years ago, I saw Joe Cocker. And whenever I go to different cities, I like going to concerts, right? So whenever I have a business trip, like I have a business trip to Orlando in October, I'll look up what's going on, what concerts, what comedy shows. I wanted to go do something while there. I was in Vegas and I noticed that Joe Cocker was performing. I'm not the biggest Joe Cocker fan. I know like 5 or 6 of his songs. And I just went to go, right? It was a great concert. And on top of that, not only did he sing his hits, get this, Jeff, he sang all of his hits, but on top of that, he sang about 8 INXS songs. He did a tribute to INXS on his set list, not just 1 or 2, wasn't a medley. He was out there singing INXS song after INXS song. And I love INXS. And for Joe Cocker, a 70s legend, a blues legend, to be singing Nothing Will Tear Us Apart, all of those songs, was so cool, dude. It was so cool.
Why did he do that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. He was so good doing that. I'll send you a YouTube clip of like one of his songs that he did. It was amazing. May he rest in peace. The best concert I ever went to that I don't, in retrospect, I went to the Blockbuster Video Rockfest 1997, and it was at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth. It was a free concert. Over 100,000 people showed up. And I got to the very front, man. It was me and my friends. We were pounding beers, going out there, having a great time. It was No Doubt, Bush. It was Matchbox 20, Third Eye Blind, Jewel, Counting Crows, Toadies, Presidents of the United States of America, the Nixons, Collective Soul. It was Garbage. It was such a cool album, a cool festival that we went to. And I got to the very front. By the end of it, man, I was super dehydrated and drunk. But I had a blast. We got going at 10 a.m. when all the Wallflowers were also part of it. It was a great show, dude. Great show.
I've heard them for a long time.
But I have plans for a concert September 7th at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Go see Willow and Childish Gambino. So I'm looking.
I'm trying to think of other cool concerts. I I went to a concert in Central Park. That was awesome. What else have I done? I
Oh, wait.
remember. Go ahead.
$2 super chat, by the way, coming in. This is for you, not for me. So if you finish your thought, by the way, but this is going to be for you.
Talking to me? I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Okay, finish your thought. I'm sorry. I apologize for interrupting.
No, but here's the thing. My like if we're on a concert and family, so my uncle wants me to go with him to go see Scorpions soon in San Antonio. Right. And now look, I like rock music. Nothing wrong with that. Listen to it at the gym, but I'm not a big fan. Well, my uncle is a humongous fan. So his goal is to get all his nephews to go to the concert. So I'm thinking, okay, how bad can it be? He wants front row tickets and they're $250 a pop.
Wow.
So I think, uncle, can we maybe push it back a bit? We don't have to be in the first row. We don't have to be in that first section, but he's so adamant.
You got to do the whistle part, though.
Well, here's the thing. Do I just buy a cheap ticket and then just meet them down there? That's what I'm thinking. Like I just buy
just walk on up. Just walk
right out. I mean, it'd just be like, oh no, I'm with Ken's 5. I just gotta go check something out real fast. But hey,
like that's usually the press pass right there.
Jimenez, cut this short, man. But I'm really up against the clock here, man. I got a meeting like in about 2 seconds.
Okay, they wanted you to sing a $2 super chat. Any lines from Mandy? Because we were talking about Barry Manilow.
No. But anyway,
that's Jeff Garcia to Locked On Spurs Ken's 5. Subscribe to Locked On Spurs, Spotify, YouTube, and he's also at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and Threads. Thanks for being with us, man. Appreciate it.
Later, brother.
Mexican Junior asking the question: did Joe Cocker do the Officer and Gentleman song? Love lift us up where we belong. Damn straight he did. Tony Nadella saying the first Lame concert was Menudo and that group Expose. You won tickets on 102.7 KTFM. Now, was that Menudo with Ricky Martin? That's what I want to know. Marta Cavazos, she's lump. She might be dead. Scorpions are awesome, according to Mexican Junior. At least 6 hits. Mario says, take him to see Striper. Dude, I live for concerts, man. Getting that back into me. Keep me young, man. Keep me young. But man, I want to thank everybody for being on today. Hey, don't forget also MCS General Contracting. If you have concrete placement needs, reach out to them. They do a fantastic job. As I mentioned early in the show, Chris Lehow's like, anybody who's working outside, whether you are hanging things on the roof, if you are working on poles, if you're working construction, just stay hydrated because the temperature this week is going to absolutely be insane. I'm looking at the temperatures for the week right now. Right now, it's already 89 degrees. It's going to get up to 97, but next week, we're looking at temperatures in the upper 90s, low 100s, and on top of that, cool for a lot of people already. Tony Nala saying, coolest concert he went to was the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and that was in D.C. Lauryn Hill performed at Joe Sabi's, a little bar in Helotes a handful of years ago, which was kind of bizarre. But she's kind of gone MIA. Man, she was incredible. Miseducation is one of the biggest albums of all time, probably a top 50 album of all time. And for her to just simply say, yeah, I'm done, was insane. She never had a decline in career. She hit the mountaintop, and just said, I'm going to be a mom at this point. Samson saying, good show, Mike. Hey, by the way, I'm going to be going off to work. I'm going to take my daughter to go get some clothes for back to school. But beyond all that, my day job is finance, investments, insurances, things like that. Reach out to me. DM me if you want to have an appointment to look over your stuff, old 401ks, life insurance policies, disability policies, need help with that. Just DM me, reach out to me, or call me, 210-508-0369. Again, we're riding solo for the most part this week because Joe is on training for his work. Next week, it's going to be solo again, but we're going to have guests hopefully every day to kind of keep me company throughout this whole process. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to either get John Dyer or James Pledger on. That's the goal. And then Friday, we'll have Fernandez back on, and we'll be talking lots of things. Sports, pop culture, and sounds what we do. We're just bullshit. That's what we do. But for myself, my name is Mike Jimenez. That is Ava Jimenez. And this is Daisy Jimenez on the table, jumped on the table. And for Cody and Duncan back there, as you can see them outside, my name is Mike. We'll be back tomorrow. Y'all take care, man. Have a safe day.